everybody. This is Bobby Cool, Daddy Slick Breeze, and I'm with me, Robert Clash McCall. Clash, that's it.
Yeah. What's up?
We are here from Dynamic Disc Studios in Emporia, Kansas. It's just me and Robert McCall. Eric is out on assignment, and right now he's in Massachusetts. He's out there designing. Well, in Massachusetts, he's not designing a course. He's actually checking up on a course he designed, but he was earlier in Maine checking up on a course or designing a course out in Biddeford, Maine. Biddeford disc golf course. So I actually called him and we recorded that on the Disc Golf Answerman Facebook group. So if you're not part of that group, you need to become part of that group so you can follow along with that interview. Talked to him a little bit about designing courses and stuff like that, and he's having a great time. He'll be back later this week, I believe, and maybe we'll have him on next week. But today you have just me and Robert McCall. How are you today, Robert?
Hey, guys. Doing great. Had a great weekend. Now glad to be back in town, and the weather here is nice. Probably go play some golf today and just enjoy it.
Excellent. So we are on YouTube Live, and we are on Facebook Live. Hopefully we're at all the places that I designated. We've been having a little bit of glitches with the live stuff. Well, hopefully we'll get it figured out, but we appreciate your patience as we figure out which platform and how we want to do this. But it's all fun, all good. I love doing it. What else we got going on?
You didn't really sound bitter when you said I love doing it like that.
Well, I was trying to set something up earlier. I was trying to do the multiple camera thing, but using my iPhone, and it just would not work.
It's irritating.
It was very irritating because it worked before, and then we had another platform we used, and it had some issues, but I think we can figure those issues out. And anyway, whatever. It is what it is. Today's today. We've got me and you, and today that's all we need.
That, to be fair, that may always be all we need.
That may be always.
Just for life, though, you know.
Right.
Like when I'm walking around GBO, and people always say, "Hey, where's Bob?"
That was the funniest thing. He came up to me and said, that was the biggest question he got asked
every
day
person
was, "Hey, where's Bobby?"
Where do you think? Like, I don't know.
Well, obviously we're together all the time, just like we are on live video.
We don't like share an office or anything.
No.
Except for we do share a closet. We often wear the same clothes. We
And
call each other and coordinate outfits.
Who do you think takes up most of the closet?
Yeah, it's me.
So anyway, we called you Clash because you just got back. You and Anthony and a few other guys here at Dynamic Disc
Just one other guy.
Clash at the Canyons.
That's right. Yep, up there in Lockport, Illinois.
Tell us first about the course because Anthony was very excited about you going out there to see the course.
Yes, so Clash at the Canyons took place at Delwood Disc Golf in Lockport, Illinois. And I'll just say right off the top, if you haven't been there before, man, you got to go. It is, gosh, it's so beautiful. It's, I don't really like to give Anthony credit for really anything if we're on the same page, but no, it was beautiful. It was well maintained. It's a park course, and you could tell that the Parks Department absolutely cares about the course. They had put in a ton of work to make it beautiful, to make it aesthetically pleasing, to make it fair. I have nothing bad to say about that course. It's one of the most fun park courses I've played anywhere. And the tournament was run really smoothly as well. We actually had a little bit of a flooding issue for some of the temp holes, so they had to make some new temp holes on the fly, and it was great. It was just like the course was drawn up that way the whole time. It was awesome.
So now looking at the scores, you did fairly well. You
did okay.
You played at what are you rated right now?
I'm rated 995.
So you played a little above your rating.
Yeah,
but you're still in talks with you early on. You're not quite happy with the performance out there.
No, I felt like I played okay, and honestly, 27-hole rounds are more difficult to get good ratings on because the strokes count for less, almost across the board. So you would have to really, really super shred to get an okay rating. But if you shoot kind of under your rating, like not as great a round, usually it's going to turn out to be a little bit better round than you thought, just because strokes don't count for quite as much. And so I ended up shooting 1,000 the first round on the number, and then 997 the second round. And having played a few tournaments, a lot of tournaments, kind of have a good sense of how I'm shooting and what it should be rated. And both those rounds felt like around 10-10 or 10-15 to me. I certainly didn't go off. I don't think I should have ever won the tournament with scores like that, but I think they were a little bit better than the ratings that they got. That's no fault of the course or anything like that. That's just how the rating system is. Yeah. So, but it was a great time. We had some live coverage the first day, and then we'll have some post-produced coverage from Ryan Nick, who's a Team Latitude guy.
Oh, nice.
And he had a film crew follow us around first round, and Yeah, and then they did same thing for the second round, and it was awesome. We loved it. Went and visited downtown Chicago. I've never been there. It was beautiful. The architect. Okay, look, I'm not an artistic person, really hardly at all. On the musical side, yes, but on the visual art side, I can look at something and be like, "That's cool," but I don't really know much about it.
Yeah.
And we went to downtown Chicago, and it is, oh my goodness, it's so beautiful.
Really?
Yeah, unbelievable.
Did you go to the Sears Tower?
No, we saw it, but we didn't go in it.
We wanted to go up in it too, but it was the day we went. We're gonna go. It had been storming and there was a lot of clouds, so it was like you wouldn't be able to see anything anyway. So it was kind of pointless to go up to the Sears Tower.
I got you.
So Ryan was doing. You said he had a crew out there. Did he have like one camera, two camera coverage?
It was throw and catch camera.
Nice.
So yeah, it's gonna be really, really great coverage. I played with Mike Conley of Latitude 64 the first round. You can turn me down a baby touch if you want. Johnny V said we're a little hot here.
Oh, Johnny,
just
Mr.
a hair hot. Yep, that one. There we go. And then, throw and catch for both of those. I played with Mike Conley. I played with Steven Jacobs, all 54 holes, another Team DD member. Steven played very well, made a ton of putts, including one really, really cool putt, 470-ish foot hole. He drove it 410, 415, and his disc landed in some casual water. And so he was like, well, I gotta put my feet in it. And a guy right before him put his feet in the water and jammed that 60-footer. And so Steven was like, well, guess I got to get my feet wet. And he also made the 60-footer. That was really, really cool. We had a good time.
And this was on video? Is this going to be on video?
This one wasn't on video. That was our second round.
Right.
The first round we had some good putts, some good plays, good throws, things like that.
Excellent. Well, it sounds like you had a relatively good time.
Oh yeah, it was.
How did Anthony do?
Anthony didn't do very well. He kind of just turned and gave us a look of sadness. Anthony's game is really good, but I think in tournaments I think he gets a little nervous. Is that a fair statement, Anthony? Yeah. Started off well, yeah. And then just kind of struggled to finish, yeah. Yeah. It's all right. But we had a super great time. I mean, like I said, nothing but good things to say about that course and the area. I will definitely be back.
Excellent. Well, I spent some time with family over Mother's Day and celebrated some birthdays. Had a good time. I took my two grandkids out to play some disc golf, and that was fun. Out at Sooner Park in Bartlesville, Oklahoma. It was a really nice day. It was a little windy, so I didn't feel bad, but it was like, this is not the kind of wind you'd want to teach people how to play disc golf.
That's not
cool. Had two of my daughters and two of my grandkids out there, so that was a really good time. So what do we have coming up, guys? On May 26th is the first of the Trilogy Challenges. We've been talking it up, but it's actually about to happen. Me and Robert went out and filmed, or actually Anthony filmed me and Robert doing the Is This Disc Right For You? And Anthony is actually working on that right now. The Is This Disc Right For You Trilogy Challenge Edition. But we can kind of give our impressions right now about the discs.
Yeah.
Let's see. The driver is the Latitude 64 Musket. I would say it's a pretty straight flyer.
Pretty neutral. It's got good stability to where if you move it to the right, it's usually going to move back just a little bit. It's not going to have like a super hard fade unless you throw it up high and don't put much spin on it.
I would say it's probably not something you threw really hard though, right?
I didn't juice it, no.
Yeah. And then, of course, the middle is the Dynamic Disc Mid-Range, the Patrol, an understable mid-range, something that I'm very excited for just because I like that those understable discs for my throwing style. I know that even Ron Converse, when he tested it out, he thought it might have been like a roller mid, which I thought was interesting.
I think so, yeah.
So, yeah, for someone of your arm power and arm speed, it probably is going to turn a little too much, no?
It won't make my bag,
yeah,
probably, but I think for people who love, maybe who are coming from an ultimate background, who have a lot of spin on their wrist and not a lot of arm speed, they're really going to like that to just fly straight or subtly move to the right. Beginners are going to love that. If you don't throw it hard, you can get it to fly beautifully. I mean, beautifully.
Yeah. It's
but
really nice.
if you step up on it a little too much or have a little bit of even off-axis torque or anything like that, it is not going to like that.
And then from Westside is the putter, and that's the Westside Discs Maiden. And it's going to come in which is really cool. It's going to come in the Origio Burst plastic, which is really cool. Somewhat shallow putter with the tiniest bit of bead to it.
I say it's like a medium bead.
Would you say
it's
medium?
It's not a micro bead, but it's bigger or it's smaller than it's definitely smaller than a judge bead or something like
that. Definitely shallow. Definitely for me when I threw it, I remember it was pretty straight. I like the feel of it. I didn't know I'd like the feel of it because of the shallow
That's awesome.
rim to it. But you actually were very impressed with it, if I remember.
Yeah. I mean, if the Warden wasn't a disc that was already made and I had already fallen in love with and had, too many of them in my in my disc storage area, it's very likely I'd have the musket be one of my the Maiden be one of my throwing putters. Just really, really straight. It likes to go straight. It'll hold the line that you throw it on. I love the stability for it. I think people are going to love that disc.
So Trilogy Challenge, you can go to trilogychallenge.com, look for the events tab, and you can find one being played in your area. I haven't looked in a while. Last time it was up to 267, I think it was. Let's see, where are we at now as far as events? 284 events in 41 states and 10 countries. So hopefully there's one in your area. The first one I see that's being played on May 26th, or one of the first ones, is from our own Steve-O Story out in Carrollton, Texas at the Jimmy Porter Park. It's a flex start. And that's the beauty of Trilogy Challenges, is that if you want to learn how to host a tournament and run an event, you can sign up to host one in your area, and you can do it flex start. You can do shotgun. You can do tee times. You can do 1 round. You could do 2 rounds. You just best shot, worst shot, anything you want to do. You can actually go to trilogychallenge.com and go to the TD information and the FAQ section, and you'll be able to see different ways of running it and how you run it. And it's like I always make the little saying, it's like a tournament in a box.
Yeah, super easy to run, plug and play. If you're trying to learn, there is no better way to do it than
prizes for the winners and stuff like that. So if you want to run one, there's plenty of time to get signed up. If you want to just play one, check out where they're being played and get out there and play a Trilogy Challenge. All right, what do you say we get to the questions, Mr. Robert?
Let's get to some questions.
Remember, you guys can go to discgolfanswerman.com and submit your disc golf questions. You can either do it through Speakeasy,
SpeakPipe.
I live back in the Prohibition era, apparently.
I feel like if my job as team director of the 3 teams goes south, then I could grab a full-time job and just making sure that you're saying the right things.
I don't understand. I don't even try to explain it anymore. I don't even try to correct it. I just let it come out of my mouth, and then my brain says no, and then it says just go ahead and correct it because there's nothing I can do about it.
Yeah.
So you can send it in.
But I'll fix it for you.
You'll fix it. Go to SpeakPipe and you'll be able to submit a voicemail, which we enjoy hearing from you guys, or you can just send it via Google Forms. Just know that we're back. It's climbing again. I think we're at like 50 Google Form questions.
Forms? Oh, goodness.
Yeah. Let me look real quick. Actually, get 58.
Wow.
So 58.
I'm just going to read through those super fast right now. And just answer all of them. Yeah.
Now, Danny has been answering some of the form questions and some of the more technical questions via video form. He's putting that on YouTube, but we're going to change up that format a little bit, and he's going to put them out on Instagram now because a lot of these are just like under 1 minute.
Yeah, so knock it out.
Yeah, make sure you follow us on Instagram. Just look for username Dynamic Discs, and you'll start seeing some videos from Danny. I know you guys like those instructionals from Danny. You'll see some of your questions getting answered on Instagram. All right. And before we go to the question, we got a lot of activity going on in the forums or the chat for YouTube and Facebook. Anything of note?
Just asking about some discs and stabilities and things like that. I think most of it's getting answered, so I think we're good to go. Move on to the voicemails.
Questions? Yeah. All right, let's see. The first one
to the speakeasies.
The speakeasies. Maybe we need some out now.
Wait, what?
From Matthew.
This is the middle of Cool Daddy Slick Breeze.
Cool Daddy Slick Breeze.
That was like 10 seconds. We're going to play it again. Hold on.
Yeah, roll it back.
Hello, Bobby. Cool Daddy Slick Breeze.
That was like a 10-second.
Robert, your hair is amazing. McCall and Eric,
thanks,
the
buddy.
Lucid X Emax are money. McCabe, my question is regarding distance drivers and fairway drivers. I seem to be getting about the same distance from a distance driver and a fairway driver at the moment. I can throw both about 375 to about 425 depending on wind and uphill, downhill. But right now I'm throwing a Ballista Pro. I just maxed out at about 420. and I'm throwing my Explorer on average about 380 or 400 every time. So my question is there something I can do with my form, or is there something I can do that will gap the distance and make the distance further for a distance driver than a fairway driver? I feel like a fairway driver should not go as far as a distance driver, and I'm probably doing something wrong, but what tips do you guys have to increase the distance for a distance driver, or I guess gap that distance? Thanks, guys. I really enjoy the show. Keep it real. I love everything you guys are doing for the sport. Go dynamic, be dynamic, and keep it real, guys.
Dude, I love the sign off right there by Matthew.
Yeah.
To hit him with all of it.
All you needed was cheers.
Yeah, cheers.
Cheers, dynamic. So here's something that I noticed for me, and I may be totally wrong, but this is my perspective way I'm looking at it. Like, I was throwing my captain and thinking I would get a lot of distance. I noticed after I threw my Maverick, or I throw my Maverick first and I throw my captain and I'd walk up, the captain wasn't much farther than the Maverick.
Right.
And I feel like that's because it's too fast of a disc for me. And that's where I've made a decision where I'm not going to carry anything higher than a speed 12, which is my trespass, other than I have a defender and enforcer, because if it's super windy, I definitely need something overstable for me.
Right.
Is that a fair thing to say, that maybe the disc is too fast for them?
I think that's...
Or is that an oversimplification?
Maybe a bit of both, right?
Okay.
All right, so based on the distances that you're saying, Matthew, I'd say we're in the same speed range. I think I can put a little bit more on my distance drivers than that, but my fairways go about 360 to 380-ish. If I really wanted to get one out to 4, maybe, just maybe, but I don't like stretching, trying to throw a disc too hard, right? What I've found for myself, and this is what I find for people, kind of like Bobby said, that if you're starting to see that a certain subset of discs is matching a set of discs that's faster, then it's likely that your arm speed isn't quite what it needs to get that faster disc to do what it needs to do.
Yeah.
So what you'd want to work on is developing some more spin and some more arm speed. Danny's got a lot of videos out there that'll help you on hitting the power pocket, and that's making sure that you're not leading with your shoulders, that instead you're leading with your elbow and allowing the disc to come out and spin properly. I think those videos would be worth checking out. I think it's just a speed thing more than it is anything else.
Gotcha. Next one comes from Keaton.
Hey, this is Keaton Rogers from Lubbock, Texas. I was just super frustrated after one of my tournament rounds the other day. The first round went great. Shot my first tournament round under par, 5 under, and I was second going into the second round by 1 stroke. And man, I don't know if y'all have ever been in that situation. I'm sure y'all have. That is hard not to count strokes. Well, of course, I got caught up counting strokes, and it was just hard to come back from that. First hole, I gave him a stroke. That's all I was thinking about. And the round just fell apart from there. I mean, just any advice y'all can give on just not counting strokes when you're just 1 back. That's the hardest thing to do for me right now, is my mental game. So any tips on not counting strokes when you're a handful away from the lead, or just any mental tips you can give? Thanks for all y'all do. Catch you later.
All right, Keaton. So I think I understand your question, and I'm going to take a shot at it. So if one of the issues that you're having is during the round, a lot of people like to know where their score is at during the round. And so if you're sitting under par and you've never been sitting under par before, maybe you're thinking back, all right, I birdied this hole, I bogeyed this hole, I birdied this hole, things like that. And just to kind of keep track of where you are during the round and where other people's scores are during the round. And I haven't ever found that that's very helpful for me. The only time that I'll really double check on where scores are is if I think I'm pretty close and we've got maybe 3 or 4 holes left. That's about the only time that I think I'll look into what the scores are. And only then if there's a play that I could make for maybe a more aggressive play than I normally would have been able to make. We didn't really have this opportunity this weekend, but I'll just use this weekend's course as an example. So out at the Canyons, the last 3 holes, 2 of them are gettable 2s. One of them is a par 4 that, it's 540 or 550, 560, somewhere in there. where people have gotten twos on it before, just with a huge drive and a big putt or something like that. So let's say I was within one of the lead, and I looked at the scorecard and saw that I was within one, and maybe my competitor laid up or played really safe. Maybe I try to take a little bit more aggressive line to get a long jump putt at that basket. But across the board, I'm almost always going to be playing for birdie, right? And so very rarely am I thinking, well, I got to go for the ace or something like that. Unless it's a hole that I had planned on playing for par and I know I need to grab a stroke. Most of the time, I don't want to know where I'm at score-wise until the end of the round because it doesn't help me. It only makes me think about it more. It only makes me think, oh, well, this is better than I've ever shot before. I got to keep it going. Well, as soon as you've done that, now you've lost focus. Yeah. Or, man, I'm several behind. I really need to push. And usually when you start pushing is when you get in trouble. And so the best thing to do is just forget about your score. When you get to the end of the hole, say the number that you got on the last hole and move on to the next. Honest to goodness, until we finished either round this weekend, I had no idea what my score was. I knew that I had birdied some holes. I knew I had a couple of bogeys, but I couldn't have even guessed at a number. So, and that helps me just to keep my mind clear and to be able to focus on the task at hand.
I like that. You know what I was thinking was, we actually get this question a lot. This question comes up a lot at clinics. This question comes up a lot here at Disc Golf Fan Spain. One thing that I want to, that's not really disc golf related, is the answer. I think can be experience.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm sure that like the top people of the top sports still deal with anxiety, still deal with the mental part and stuff like that. But to me, I compare it to different things you do in your life that become like second nature because you do them over and over again, almost to the point where maybe you don't necessarily have to think as much about it.
Right.
So my thinking is, if you've got somebody in the sport that's the top and they've been playing for years and years and years, I would imagine after a while being in that situation over and over again of, being a stroke away or trying to make up for bad rounds or bad holes, it's almost like we've been there before, just keep moving on.
Yeah.
And so having that experience, now I know some of you are thinking, well, I just started playing, but you just got to know my punchline is time. You just got to give it time. Mm-hmm. You got to go play more events. You got to play more events where you're under pressure. You got to put things on the line so that next time you're faced with that situation, you at least have that experience to say, I've been here before. I know how to move on. I know how to figure it out and execute.
Yeah, I agree with that. And everything at a tournament, the first time you encounter it is a new experience that you're not prepared for. I promise. The first tournament that I played, I'd been playing disc golf for a couple of years. I thought I was pretty good. I would like win a local mini or something. So I was like, I'm basically the best in the game at this point.
Yeah.
Obviously that wasn't true. But I went to my first tournament, threw a forehand on this hole and had like a 15-footer for birdie. And I promise you, I missed more than 3 discs width to the right from 15. Wow. I mean, like just super shank. There's just every time you enter a new phase of a tournament. So my first tournament, really super nervous. First lead card at a tournament, really, really nervous. First lead card at a bigger tournament. First challenging for the win. Everything like that. The first time you experience it is going to be pretty difficult. But putting yourself in that position more and more, and then allowing your mind to be as free as possible is really, really helpful.
The first time ever I saw you. Anyway, next one comes from Jay.
Hey there, cool. That is the Breeze, EMAC, and Robert. And hello to Danny and whoever else is in the studio this week. This is Jay Treelove in Simi Valley, California. I wanted to give you a quick update and a testimonial. Recently, you answered my question, which 3 Westside discs you would take to a course. I want to thank you for that. I've been having a lot of fun playing around with the suggestions you gave me, and I will report back soon which 3 discs gave me the best score. But I want to tell you, yesterday, I played around. I shot 5 over par. Now, I've been playing just over a year, and I'm new to the DGAM podcast, so I've been catching up on old episodes. So in the episode I listened to yesterday, after that round, EMAC reminded me that when throwing, to pretend that I have drinks on my tray and I'm trying not to spill them. So this morning when I played, in my routine, I would step to the tee pad, I hold my disc out towards the basket, I put the drinks on my tray, and I kept them there from the reach back until I let go. And wouldn't you know it, if I didn't shoot 1 under par.
Let's go.
So I just want to thank you guys for the great coaching and the advice. Just please keep up the great work. And as always, keep it real. All right, I'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, that's just something that's so important to keep that your disc flat and straight, so that when you release it, a lot of times I tell people, imagine your favorite pizza.
Yeah,
since I like pizza,
I ain't trying to drop that thing.
Yeah, so, especially the what is it over from Papa John's, the Hawaiian pineapple.
Hold on, you get pineapple and
barbecue.
ham, dude. You are gross.
Yes,
that is a nasty pizza.
Oh my God! Here's the debate: does pineapple belong on pizza? It does.
Answer definitively no.
You don't not even a Hawaiian pizza.
Well, I don't like pineapple anyway, but
then that's not.
But that's beside the point.
Then.
No. Pineapple and ham do not belong on pizza.
It's got pineapple.
No, get that out of here.
Well, it's actually a bacon, like a Canadian bacon, and then like a barbecue sauce.
It honestly doesn't matter what other ingredients you say. I'm going to say
so
it's
good.
garbage.
Anyway, you put it, and it's important.
That's very important. But Danny chimed in on the board a second ago, and I want to echo something that he was saying. So with this question, we're talking about keeping the disc level, and referencing back to our first question of the day, Danny suggested that another issue other than speed, because he might not have a problem with arm speed, it might be that he's getting the nose slightly up on his distance drivers, and that's not affecting the fairway drivers quite as much because they're spinning a little bit slower, but distance drivers, getting that nose down will be exceptionally helpful as well. So yeah, something to think about.
Excellent. Next one is from Anonymous.
This is promising.
Could be.
Hey, Disc Golf Answer Men. I have a question regarding the difference between championship competitive courses and community courses. In my area, we're fortunate enough to have a lot of different courses, but they lie at different ends of the spectrum. I personally get a little irritated when people are constantly trying to turn the small community courses into championship level courses by talking about adding trees and moving pins longer and making it tougher. In my opinion, if we're trying to grow the sport, we need to keep those courses extremely easy for the families that are going out with their DX starter packs or 3 discs and just wanting to have fun. If everything's made super competitive, it's not going to be enjoyable. I just wondered what you guys thought about this, if you had any advice, or what is the criteria that separates that competitive championship course and a community course? Thanks, guys.
So is he saying all courses should be easy or just ones in community?
No, he's just asking about should they always be easier? Should you always be trying to make them harder? Things like that.
Well, I mean, to me, that might be kind of the argument for we need more private courses. We need more. In other words, we need more private courses that we can control. That we're going to have championship level competitions on there. We're going to have the big, the Disc Golf Pro Tours, the big tours. That's one of the reasons why we have Glass One Open on the big stage is the Emporia Country Club, because it's a private course. We have a lot more say in what can happen on that course. If we held the championships at the final lead card round on Jones, it's a great course for it. And I know a lot of the pros love that Jones East course, but if, when we try to we obviously reserve the park, but if someone wanted to show up and have a picnic, we have to deal with that.
Right.
There's times where I've been to events where either someone planned poorly or someone did, or somebody else didn't care, and they showed up and they had a family picnic, and they're right in the way of everything, and so that doesn't happen on a private course. So yes, we do. I think we need the community level one, the community park that allows the beginners, but there's also a big need for the big stage of disc golf and having these private big courses that really test the skills of the competitive player.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think if you only have one course in town, you want it to be a more beginner-friendly course. Plain and simple. As someone who enjoys really competitive disc golf courses, starting off with an easier course is better for everyone. You can adapt and make longer tees if you need to. You can make safari layouts if you need to. That's fine. But if given the option, here's an example. I will never ever make Hammond Park more difficult ever. It is a perfect beginner-friendly course. I still love going to play Hammond, where I can practice my approach shots and my touch game, things like that.
Right.
But it's not the course I'd want to play all the time. However, it's vitally important that it is in town, because you don't want to take a beginner out to Jones East. You honestly don't really want to take a beginner out to Jones West. I mean, those courses are On the more difficult side of things, they're going to challenge the intermediate to advanced level players. Having those easier courses is vitally important, and I think having both is really, really good.
I mean, I would imagine, yes, in a town where they only can afford or only have the opportunity for one course, there's going to be a fine balance between, easy for the person that is throwing for the first time and some seasoned players that want to play a harder course. I get that there's a fine balance. And I guess once someone becomes the person that wants to play more competitively, they're probably going to travel anyway for tournaments and stuff. So yeah, like Jeff on Facebook said, the community parks allow for good exposure to disc golf, though.
Yeah.
Yes, you're completely right. They allow for that. And maybe my scenario was more for a place that has multiple, but I have been to places where they want to get a disc golf course put in, and they show me the park, and I'm thinking, yeah, this would be good for a disc golf course. And then they start thinking, yeah, and then we can have tournaments here. And I'm like, oh, no.
No, this isn't a tournament course.
Yeah,
it's just like Hammond is a double disc course that we do for fun during GBO.
Right, but
never, ever would that be a real course that we would use.
And I understand that that's going to be, the ignorance in the true definition of the word, ignorance of people not understanding disc golf and the competitive aspect of disc golf.
Yeah, good question. I like it.
Someone said, kind of what you said. Jarrett said something about having red tees and blue tees where, you have harder and, easier. And so I guess that's if you are able to do that, you can have different tee settings so that one park can accommodate for beginners or more advanced players.
Well, clearly marked easy setups, though, are great for introducing people to the sport.
All right, next one comes from Boo. I have no idea what to expect from this. We'll see what Boo has to say.
What's up, guys? So with Trilogy Challenge season upon us, I'm hoping to run one this year. It's something I've wanted to do for a while, and I've just kind of haven't made it happen. But I was wondering if you could let me know how you go about running a flex start. I feel like that would be a good system for what I want to do, but I'm not exactly sure how all that works. Like, do people sign up all in advance? Or how do you make that actually work logistically? I'd appreciate any input. And I'll talk to you later. Cheers.
Boo, I got you, man. Flex starts are a great way to run your Trilogy challenges. You can do it a couple of different ways. You can take signups ahead of time with tee times. That's actually probably a little bit more organization than you want to do for something like this. What I would do if I was running a flex start is say, hey, we're running a flex start from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Show up any time in there. And then once people start showing up, just start putting them on cards and sending them out as soon as they get there. So as soon as you've got 4 people is preferable. You don't want to send out any more than 5. You never want to send out any less than 3. But yeah, anywhere in that group, you can just say, hey, you guys are ready to go. Y'all go play together. You take down the divisions that they're playing and then roll with it.
I think he may be more asking for as far as the Trilogy Challenge because you have to pre-order the packs.
I gotcha.
I would assume you can do it similar to what we did at Glassman Open, where we had people sign up early on, so you can kind of get a feeling for registration. So let's say you put out there and you say, "Hey guys, I'm going to have a flex start on Saturday, June blah blah blah, 9 to 5. I'm going to register, and then whatever the registration number is, maybe whatever the time period is before the Trilogy Challenge. I think it's like 2 weeks. They want a 2 week." See what the registration number is at, and then try to order maybe 10 more, 15 more.
Yeah, or 10% more.
Because I know that there's Danny, what was the threshold that you could return? 10. But you had to order at least 25? Uh-huh. Okay, so with the Trilogy Challenge, we know it's kind of hard sometimes to gauge what's going to happen. So you have to order at least 25, and you have to keep at least 25. But if you have 10 or more, we will buy back 10 or more of those player packs.
Yeah, there you go. Sorry, I misunderstood. I thought he was asking actual tournament.
I think he was doing
it's a little bit of both.
Right?
But yeah, but that's something to take into consideration for sure.
So I would just kind of, if you want to, do pre-registration, but just let everybody know that we'll be a flex start, and just tell people, because a lot of times not everybody's going to, for the most part, groups will show up at the same time, and you'll have plenty of time to send people out there, and you might tell people, flex starts as spaces are available or as times are available, and I bet you could handle that. But yeah, there is that kind of, make sure you go to trilogychallenge.com and look for the FAQs for the exact number on that. But there is a way that you won't lose a lot of money if you don't have as many people go there. Plus, I know a thing that a lot of people do is once you get those player packs, and let's say you expected 50 people and you had 45 people show up, and you've got these 5 player packs. You're like, what do I do with it? Turn around and sell them.
Mm-hmm.
Put them on Facebook. People will buy it. I promise you, people will buy those player packs. All right, next question comes from Daniel.
Hey, Disc Golf Answer Man.
Whoa,
Thanks
Daniel.
for everything that you do for the sport.
Sorry.
And always keeping it real.
Good
My
Lord.
question is, how do you keep your friends that don't play tournaments and leagues and things like that to follow the rules? We often play in a group of 4 and
Flick
put
'em in the head.
$10 to $20 on a round, and
Follow the rules.
people often throw OB and don't take OB strokes, or blatantly don't throw with a proper stance behind their disc, and makes me not want to play with them, and definitely not want to put money on the rounds, because they're clearly not playing the game correctly. What advice do you have for me to get them to stop ignoring the rules and step their game up a little bit? Thanks.
My thinking on this is that they need to, maybe it's just they don't know the rules. So educating them, being patient with them. They may not know the rules, or maybe they've been taught the rules, but they just don't understand how they apply to what's currently happening or whatever happens. That's one. Either they don't know, so you just got to be patient. You got to teach them, and you just be nice about it. I think one time I was playing, I just started playing, and I was throwing for my line. I put my mini marker down, and my foot was slightly on top of the mini.
How dare you?
Right, and I didn't realize it, and someone came up who I knew, good friend, not a good friend, but I knew him from playing disc golf tournaments. He came up to me and said, "Hey, dude, I'm not going to stroke you at all, but I don't want to be that guy, but just so you know, you can't put your foot on the marker when you're throwing." I was like, "Oh, wow, I didn't realize all that," and carried on and knew that was a rule, and I followed it from then on. The other thing is, I kind of equate it to social media. It's been something that's on my mind, is that a lot of people rag on social media because they think social media makes people, like social media, Facebook makes people say mean things. No. Facebook doesn't make them do it. People are going to say mean things. People are going to not follow the rules, whether they're playing disc golf or not. It just happens to happen in disc golf. And again, it just happens to happen on social media.
Right.
It exposes people for what they are and how mean they are, or how disrespectful, or whatever the case may be. So my thinking is, maybe those dudes just, no matter what they do, they loosely follow the rules, and I don't know that there's much you can do about it.
Yeah, I mean, if I was playing for money and I knew that these people weren't tournament players,
I would then play somewhere else, I guess. No,
then I would say,
and flick them in the head.
Yeah, bop. No, I think I would just clarify the rules before the round starts. If we're playing for money, these are the rules that we're playing by. Now, we don't have to do that with, when we go play here, because we all know tournament rules. We've all played tournaments. But if I was playing with people who weren't, for whatever reason, we put money on the line, yeah, I think it's very important to clarify the rules before you start.
Well, yeah, that definitely, you want to clarify it. Hey, guys, by the way, if we're putting money, I'm playing by the rules. This is OB. This is whatever. So at least at the very beginning, there's an understanding. Let's hop over to the Disc Golf Answer Man question form. This is someone from Keeping It Real.
Oh, what's up, Keeping It Real?
He says, "Bobby, thanks for answering my podcast question about releasing stuff on certain pod sites instead of Disc Golf Answer Man website. They had just someone had submitted something saying that I was not being fair to the people because I wasn't releasing. I was releasing what I do sometimes when I do special episodes. I don't put them on the website. I just push them out to all the places that we push out our podcast. So sometimes if we had some special audio stuff from Jeremy or from players from GBO, I didn't put it on the Disc Golf Answer Man website. I just pushed it out. And the guy was like, "Hey, you're being unfair." And I kind of kept it real on him, because there's 9 places that we push this podcast out. So anyway, he was kind of saying he figured out and he can listen to it on Stitcher. So thanks for the follow-up. Keep it real.
Keep it real.
Keep it real. This next one is from Okay, that one we can skip.
We don't need that.
Danny's going to take care of that one.
Cool.
We don't need that one.
Sorry, guys.
Sorry about you. This one is a general from Julius. Hey,
up,
Disc Golf
Julius?
Answer Man crew. Thanks for the great podcast. I love the effort you put into these. My question relates to a situation I witnessed recently. A friend of mine realized how much easier it is to approach with a hyzer instead of going for the straight line. It was great to watch. So my question for each of you is, what was your last disc golf related epiphany? A tweak in your form, a new disc opening up a totally new line, a course that blew your mind. Cheers from Germany.
That's a good question.
So real quick, and you didn't ask about this, but I want to touch on this because I was playing with somebody the other day in bag tags. And if he's listening, I apologize. I'm not picking on you whatsoever. I noticed that he had a flick shot, right? And I couldn't tell what disc it was, but it had to be something I think that was super overstable. But he would really turn that thing over, and it would have a big old curve and come right back. And it seemed like that was a shot he used a lot. And it seemed to work sometimes. But my thinking was, man, if we were in a wooded course,
Yeah, you're pigeonholing yourself for sure.
You're not gonna if that's a shot in a mold that you rely on, man. What are you gonna do when you need it to go super straight? So you need to tell your friend to not rely on that hyzer shot so much, and that's something I have had to work through myself when it comes to up shots because I rely on that suspect a lot for the little bit of hyzer. I need to figure out ways sometimes where I need to go straight at the basket and get it right under the basket. So the epiphany that I had, I've already kind of shared, so I won't go over it too much, is I'm not going to throw anything over high speed or over a speed 12 for a while now.
Mm-hmm.
There's no need for me to grab anything faster because I think I'm just going to be disappointed. I may have a good throw every now and then, but the other day I took everything out of I took the captain out of my bag.
Yeah, get it out. Queen.
I was going to try freedom and I decided not to.
Get it out.
I took the queen out of my bag.
Who cares?
And I did perfectly fine. If I needed something nice and overstable, I grabbed my trespass.
Yep.
And it worked really well for me. So that was my epiphany. Now, will this be different in 6 months when I go for the World Championships in Vermont?
Dang.
Maybe I'll pick something different.
You're playing Worlds in Vermont? Dude, I'm so excited for you.
I know.
The place is beautiful. It's so awesome. I hope that we get to play it even just once or just part of it or even throw one frisbee. Anyway, my last disc golf epiphany. That's a really good question. Man, I don't know. I think the one that I've had most recently was just I guess revisiting a point that I had maybe forgotten about some. I was out playing Jones East and I was throwing okay, not great. Scoring okay, not great. And we got to hole 16. It's that downhill 375. And I grabbed my EMAC Truth and I was like, you know what? I am going to pick my target. I always talk about picking my target, and then that's the only thing that I think about, right? Yeah. I said, I'm going to pick my target, and then I'm going to follow through on that line so much that it's going to feel ridiculous, right? I'm going to throw it and then just follow through all the way until my arm is way back around behind my back. And I did that, and I put it like on the pole. It could not have been closer to the basket without being in the basket. And it was just a reminder to me how vitally important it is to follow through. If you don't follow through, you're not taking full advantage of the shot, and you're certainly wasting a lot of energy. Like I threw a whole lot of shots this weekend, and if I didn't follow through on some of them, I just wasted some physical energy just to have a bad result. If I follow through, even if I miss the line, at least I gave it a chance to do what it was supposed to do. So yeah, following through is more important than I think you ever would give it credit for.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a big one. There's times on my putting that I forget. I'm like, man, you're not. I'll as soon as I release it, I'll be like this. I'll go. I'm like, what are you doing? You're not following
right,
through.
Yeah,
gotta follow through. Real quick before we move on, I wanted to mention something I completely forgot, but we are going to mention this. Yeah. Match Play World Championship. We just opened up registration for Match Play World Championship. There's been a little bit of confusion going on. This isn't the announcement for doubles. We've had singles amateur match play, doubles amateur match play, but this is World Championship match play, and this is for people that are rated 1,000 over.
As of the April 17th ratings update.
Okay, as of April 17th, 1,000 or over, you can have your chance to win first place $15,000
Dude.
Second, and it doesn't even dip that low. Second place is 10,000. Third place is 5,000. And then
fourth is 3.
Fourth is 3,000, and then 5th through 8th, you still get $1,000.
Yeah.
So
awesome.
Registration has opened up for that. It's going to be a really cool thing. Explain really quick the coolness of match play.
Yeah. One of the reasons I love match play is because it's a different animal than stroke play, like we typically play at tournaments. And if you played in some of the U.S. Amateur Match Play Championships, you know what we're talking about. But match play is different in that you just win a single hole if you get the lower score on that hole. So say we were out playing disc golf, Bobby and I, and we were playing match play. Bobby gets a 2 on the hole, I get a 3. Bobby wins the hole, and he's 1 up. Now, if Bobby gets a 2 on the hole and I get a 5, doesn't matter. Bobby's still 1 up. So it's really just based on the number of holes that you win throughout the round. Match play is so great because, usually during stroke play, you're always competing against the course. And, people say don't play your competitor, play the course. Well, in match play, you're exclusively playing your competitor. If we're playing hole 1 out at Jones East, say I've driven my shot out of bounds and I'm putting back up at the basket, 40 feet away, and Bobby's put his, 35 feet short of the basket, he knows that I've got to make that putt for 3. And so he might just lay his putt under the basket, not take any risk of rolling away behind it. And now the pressure is squarely on my shoulders. Like I have to make this putt to even push this hole. So there's a lot of gamesmanship involved in match play. I've beaten people that I had no business beating in match play, and I've gotten beaten by people who I beat on a regular basis in match play. And so it's just a different animal. It's super duper fun. If you are listening to the show and you are over 1,000 rated, please sign up for this. It's going to be an awesome event. I think you're going to love it. If you're listening to the show and you're not over 1,000 rated, talk to some of your favorite local pros and see if they'd consider signing up for the event. Match play is so much fun. I promise you will not regret signing up for it unless you get matched up with like Ricky first round, and then that might be tough.
Now I don't know the specifics, so make sure you go to the website. But my understanding is that if you're 1,000 rated over 1,000 and you sign up and you don't make the final bracket, or if you don't make something, you still get your registration fee back.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, there's something to that. Hopefully Doug is not watching. Gets really mad at me because I don't see it. I can't find it really quick on here. But there is, let's see, competitors.
Here, let's just do this. What you need to do is go to discgolfmatchplay.com and look up World Match Play Championships. That's where you can find all of the information here. These are going to be great matches, and you have a long time to schedule your match. Say if we've got 2 touring players together, the goal is for them to be at the same stop at the same time, so that they can grab their match and make that something convenient for them, so they don't have to travel way out of their way to make it happen. And it can happen on any course, right? So if there are 2 touring players, they're both going to be at Idlewild, they can play their match there. If there's 2 different players in the same bracket, same round and everything, they don't also have to play at Idlewild. They can play at whatever course they want to. So it's cool.
Right. Yeah, make sure you look up all the information so understand how that works, how you can get out there and try to win. Now, if you are under 1,000 rated and you are unable to play, we do have a bracket challenge happening, and that's looks like a partnership with UDisc. Of course, the UDisc app is an awesome app that I use every time I go out and play bag tags to keep my scores, and I'm trying to keep my stats. And who's watching? Josh is watching. Josh, I know I'm part of the beta testing. I've done a little bit, and I've watched Dixon, and I don't want to say because I don't know what people are allowed to say at being a beta tester, but there's some really cool stuff coming from UDisc.
Yeah.
Not for watching tournaments, but for yourself.
Yeah.
Can I say it?
Is
he on YouTube? Can I say it? Can I say it, Josh? Tell me if I can say it if you're watching YouTube. Yeah. So yeah. Anyway, back to we'll see if he says I can say it. So there's a bracket challenge. I'm assuming it's going to be much like March Madness.
March Madness. Yeah.
So you're going to select winners, and there's going to be prizes given out to people that have an online account at dynamicdisc.com and are pro subscribers to UDisc. So get in there, get your picks in. You have to have your picks in by midnight, June 1st, so you can see if you can win some prizes and get your picks in. Nothing from UDisc, Josh, and whether I can say that.
Yeah, I mean, basically what it is you're going to be able to keep statistics for yourself just a little bit better.
He says
now.
I can say it.
Nice. Okay. Do you want me to talk? I've used what he's talking about before.
Yes, Dixon showed me, and I thought it was really cool.
All right, so basically what's coming to UDisc, this is to the premium subscribers, it's $4.99
for the year.
Come on, just do it.
You guys talk grow the sport.
Yeah.
Help these guys out.
Just do it.
So they can
anyway,
keep building stuff.
That's right. So basically, you put in your stats just like the competitors or whoever's taking the stats for the competitors do at the Disc Golf Pro Tour tournaments, at the bigger tournaments where they can track their fairway hits, they can track their out of bounds strokes, they can track their distance from their putts inside the circle, outside the circle. That keeps up with your putting percentages. If you commit to it and you just make it each hole where you go through and say, okay, I hit the fairway. My second shot, I was inside circle 1, made the putt. I was from 22 to 33 feet and going to the next hole. You'd be shocked to get to the end of the round and then get a few rounds in there and see the stats of your circle 1 putting percentage, your circle 2 putting percentage, your circle 1 in regulation, circle 2 in regulation. I'm telling you, it will absolutely be worth your while. So if you haven't already spent that $4.99 for the year, just do it. You will not regret it. It's awesome. That's all there is to it.
Yeah, it's really cool. I mean, Dixon was showing, he talked about it real quick, and I thought, that's really cool. And then he showed me at the end of the round. I was like, whoa. People that like stats and like to keep know how they're performing and then want to see if they're progressing in their game at a particular course, this is going to be top notch. And Josh says on YouTube this new update will be available in a couple of weeks. So make sure you download the app. And I know it sounds like a sales pitch, but get the pro version so you're ready to go. Once they release that update, you'll see it's really cool. Well worth it. All right, we got time for a couple more questions. This next one is from DJ Jolly.
What's going on, Bobby, Eric, and Robert? Before I get into my question, I just want to say, Robert, I don't know if you remember me, but a few years back, we actually played a couple of times in Abilene while I was attending college at Hardin-Simmons. I was really developing my forehand, and of course, you and I have both gotten significantly better since then. But I just want to say it was a joy getting to play with you for the short time that we did. It really opened my eyes to see, how well disc golf can be played, even though obviously you are a lot better than you were back then. But
thanks, man.
Anyway, my question to you guys is, I am a right-hand forehand dominant player. I always have been since I even started playing the game. Really learned some good forehand form. My max distance is about 400 feet. I can do golf lines anywhere from 300 to 350. And I just want to know, do you think I can be really competitive in the open field on that level? I'm developing a backhand. It maxes at 300. That's not even golf lines, but my upshots are pretty good. My putting's pretty good. So I just want to know what y'all think of that. Kind of like a Sarah Hokum kind of feel.
Sure.
Anyway, love the show, guys. Thanks for your time, and keep on playing.
Thanks for the question, DJ. Appreciate that. And yeah, definitely remember you from back in the Abilene days. So thanks for listening to the show. Appreciate it.
Oh, sorry. Every time
anyway,
a song comes to my head.
Yeah, that's right. Short answer is yes. I do think you could be competitive in the open field with those distances. The key to that is going to be doing them extremely consistently, right? So if your max is 400 and you are playing a longer course, you're probably going to struggle to score as much as some of the other competitors are. However, let's just say theoretically, if you threw, you could throw your forehand 320, 350, whatever, to inside the circle every single time, and you were a fantastic inside the circle putter, yeah, you could compete. It's honestly all about consistency. The thing that distance gets people is it can cover up some of their mistakes, right? You watch somebody like, who's a good example? Drew was saying this a while back. Drew Gibson at GBO shot a smoking second round. It was he was like 10 under or something like that. And somebody, I think Eulaberry was talking to him, was like, I didn't even know you could get 10 birdies on that course. And Drew had more opportunities than that, just didn't make some of his putts, right?
Yeah.
But he was able to score well and still compete well in the tournament because he has elite distance, right? So when you have distance, a lot of times it opens up opportunities for you. Being able to convert on those opportunities is what's going to take you from a good player to a great player, from a great player to an elite player. So yeah, those distances would be to where you could compete in the open field, probably not at a national tour in AT or something like that, but certainly at, Cal Young or Will Hare, places like that, I think that's totally viable. It's just about consistency.
Excellent. Let's see how long we've been going at. We got time for one last question.
One more.
We'll take this from the Google Forms. And then if you guys have any quick, I know Danny has been really good about answering questions on the YouTube channel. But if you got anything on Facebook or YouTube, you got really quick, if you want Robert to answer it, put that on there. We'll see if we can get it on.
Yeah.
Now, Facebook's, we'll have to slow down because Facebook, they only show 4 comments at a time.
They go fast too.
Let's see. We'll take this one. Shot selection. Eden asks, hey, Disc Golf Answer Man crew, my question is about scrambling.
Nice.
What are some strategies, disc, and shots that are useful for scrambling? I find that I have a lot of trouble pulling off the shots that are needed for saving par when I get off the fairway, and some tips would be super helpful. Now, I know Robert's going to have some tips, but I believe Danny did something about scrambling on YouTube. So look out for that. Yeah, on YouTube channel where he talks and he'll give his perspective. But what's your perspective, Robert?
Yes. For me, scrambling is what takes...
Like scrambled eggs?
Uh-huh. That's right.
Do you put eggs on a pizza?
Heck no. Unless it's a breakfast pizza.
Okay, there we go.
Fine.
Okay, breakfast pizza.
Like the breakfast pizza at Radius, though? Holy.
Oh, come on now.
Come on. Hey, listen. Listen here. So good. So good. Anyway, all right, so scramble shots. I think scramble shots are the difference between probably, maybe not across the board, but between a player being 940 and 980 is their ability to scramble, right? Once you throw a bad shot, getting up and down for par or still to save birdie if it's a par 4 or something like that, that's how you save your score, right? And so when you are scrambling, we talk about saving par. That means that you've done something to salvage that hole. So scrambling is super important. I did it a lot this weekend, especially when you're in the woods. Having some scramble shots is really good. So one good scramble shot is the patent pending shot. For me as a right-hand backhand player, I put my left foot behind the disc instead of my right. Then I stretch my right foot out to the left side of the disc with my back basically facing the basket. That's given me some distance out of the woods or obstruction or whatever to where I can get a cleaner line up to the basket. I don't try to throw that with very fast discs. I usually use my Blend Warden as just something that I can work over to the right just to get out of trouble. That's a super good one. The opposite of that is a forehand where I put my left foot behind the disc and then stretch my right foot out to the right and then just do kind of a little turnover forehand or just a little touch shot. Practicing those is just as simple as taking the stance and throwing them because scrambling, honestly, is all about touch. You want to get close to the basket and then make your putt and get out of there. And here's one tidbit that I think will help you at scrambling. If you're in such a bad spot that getting to the basket isn't possible, don't play for the basket. If it's so bad that you have to pitch straight out to the fairway, all good. That's super cool. Pitch out. Take your medicine. But if, say, your best scramble shot, the absolute best that you could pull off, gets you to 30 feet, great. Take that 30 feet. Don't try and park the shot and maybe put some more danger into play. Instead of that, play for that 30 feet. Give yourself a look at saving par or making that 30-footer and moving on to the next instead of trying to be a hero and super pin it so that you can just drop in and move on. Scrambling is super important. You'll never hear me talk bad about it because I think it's so important to be a good scrambler, and the best players in the world are great scramblers.
Nice. Real quick, I saw this question. We'll do this one because it's quick. Discombobulated asked, the June is the Wild Hair Tournament in Abilene. Will we see the champion defend his title? Who's the champion?
Robert is the champion right now.
And?
I don't know. I don't know.
June what?
It's like June 9th and 10th or something like
right
that.
After that, though, we leave for Finland.
That's the hardest part. And it's the same weekend as Kansas City Wide Open. And my parents are going to be in town like either right before or right after that.
And
it's like, I want to. I love going back to Abilene. I love getting to see everybody at the Wild Hair. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to make it this year. I want to. I really do want to.
And then number 2 question is, my wife's birthday is the same weekend as this tournament, June 9th. So I guess question is, how do I make it up to her?
Ask her to pick a different birthday. I don't. No, I'm joking.
Diamonds, flowers.
I'm joking. I would celebrate before. Yeah, definitely beforehand, not after. you're going to want to do that before.
I'm not quite sure why you choose the category of rules on this one, but
the rules are, how do you react when you're
as it may.
Yeah.
All right, let's see if Facebook's got some stuff for us real quick.
Yeah.
And we'll talk a little bit about the Santa Cruz and our picks really quick. I know I just kind of just put that on our plates.
Oh, I haven't even looked at it.
I know, so we're going to have to
we'll
talk through it.
I'll guess.
We're live. We'll talk through it.
Great.
So let's see. Anybody on Facebook has a question? Looks like there's a conversation going on YouTube. I don't know if Danny. Oh yeah. So someone asked Danny, and I want to see if I can give some input, if that's okay. Disc Golf Tyler. I know a little thing about growing a YouTube channel and doing stuff on YouTube.
I've never heard of it.
You never heard of YouTube or anything that I've done?
No. Yeah. Of your stuff specifically.
So his question is, what was his question? How do I build a YouTube channel for someone that's new? I actually get people give me requests. They want me to do things to share their YouTube channel and stuff like that. Here's what I want you to do, and this is going to be, it's going to feel counterintuitive in some aspect, because Danny's response was Reddit is good, gives them good traction, which is good. You've got to get your stuff out there and share it. Stop worrying about getting views and stop getting followers. If you started a YouTube channel and that's your only reason, that's your main reason, you're just going to fail. It's got to be something that you love doing. I love creating video. I love doing this podcast. Now, of course, I get excited when I see the download numbers. When I see a video we do and I'm like, well, that one did really good. It makes you feel proud because it feels like people appreciate your work. So I get all that. I'm not discounting that. But if that becomes your focus, how do I grow? You're going to miss the point.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to miss the point completely. If you're doing something you love, just keep doing it. And you got to understand, now let's say, I'm going to keep it real. Let's say you're doing something you love and you don't get any views. Well, then don't do it. The market is going to tell you whether something you do is going to be well received.
Right.
Right. So if you do it and you're getting maybe 100 views and you constantly get 100 views, it's hard to say, though it is hard to say when to maybe stop, because you never know that next day when all of a sudden you're going to get 1,000 views and it's going to re-energize yourself. But you just got to know that you just got to do it for the love of doing it. You can't keep worrying about getting views and followers.
I would add to that, and this is just opinion of somebody who's gotten to take part in really what you've built. Like I didn't have to, build anything to come in here. I just got a job here, and Bobby had already built everything. And
freaking freeloader.
Yeah, you basically call me a mooch. I think is what would be a good mooch. But yeah, I think there really is something to. You have to love it, right? If it's something that you love, you're going to enjoy doing it. If you get views, cool. If not, whatever. But if the only thing is views that you're looking for and you don't get them, you're going to get depressed. And maybe not depressed, but you're going to get down on yourself and you're going to want to quit. If you decide to quit, cool. But if you're doing something that you love and you don't get views, but you love it, great. You're getting to do something that you love.
Yeah.
Keep on doing it. And if it doesn't explode, so be it. Maybe you're doing something that people don't love, but if you love doing it, you're getting to do what you love. And that's the dream, man. Like, I love getting to do things that I love doing, right? Yeah. Anytime I get to play disc golf, oh, okay, I played poorly. That stinks. But guess what? I'm getting to do what I love to do.
Right. And Disc Golf Tyler says I love creating as well. I'm not saying that you don't. I'm just saying, and I know, people ask advice for stuff like that. I get that. I just want to make sure people, if you're trying to do stuff like that, that's not your main focus, because you will lose sight of the goal and it won't work. It won't work. Anything out there going that we can answer real quick?
Danny's got a bunch of the form questions getting answered right now.
All right, so we'll move on to our picks.
Yeah, it's a Masters Cup, because I've definitely remember to do it the last few weeks.
Yeah, we've been it's okay. We'll look back, and hopefully you guys have been keeping up as far as the skipace.com Disc Golf Answer Man League. But we're going to pick it back up now that I always say there's of course prepping for GBO hangover, and then the thing is, okay, now that the GBO dust has settled, so you kind of feel like everything is back to normal. It takes about a week and a half or so
at least
to kind of get back into that feeling of everything's normal and back on track. So
I'm still catching up on some projects that were going on during GBO that I had to set aside. Yeah.
So skipace.com is something that Johnny V put together for fantasy disc golf. We participate. If you haven't joined up, it's not too late. We're doing giveaways for each and every event, but for several events. So you never know. We're going to pick a winner and pick a prize and send it out to you. What we're going to do this week is Santa Cruz Cup. It's an NT national what?
Masters Cup. Santa Cruz Masters Cup. You said Santa Cruz Cup. It's okay. There's an extra word there, but that's fine. See, full-time job.
Pineapple.
Here it is. No, never.
Santa Cruz Masters Cup is being played in Santa Cruz, California. Oh, you have to say it like that, right? Santa Cruz.
Santa Cruz.
It's being played in Santa Cruz, California.
Mhm.
This is one that's been around for a long time.
Yeah, a minute. For sure.
About a minute. A lot of people really love this tournament. I have not been able to go there yet. There are a lot of tournaments that are on my bucket list. This is one of the ones that I'd like to see because I want to see what the hype is about.
That's exactly how I feel.
Yeah.
This, especially Dela, right?
Yeah.
I want to go out there. I want to go out to Beaver State.
Yeah, Beaver State is one I'd like to go to.
Yeah, for sure.
So anyway, so you've never been there.
Mm-mm.
So nobody in here can talk about the courses.
I've watched plenty of videos of the courses.
Oh, okay. So tell us about the courses.
So Dela is one of those. I mean, it's an iconic disc golf course. It's been around for forever, and the name of the game is finding good spots around the greens because rollaways are frequent out there. And if you're a little bit aggressive on a shot or on a putt or something like that, you can catch that hard pack around the basket and then just roll away so far down hills that, I mean, you might as well rethrow from your previous lie. So the players who are going to play well out there are the ones who are going to hit their lines specifically, and then who are scrambling well. Obviously, you need to putt well, but they need to be, I think, players who are playing a little bit on the conservative side, taking their birdies when they can, not doing a whole lot of crazy stuff, are likely going to be the people who will come out on top. I think the big storyline this week is that, we've been kind of talking Paul Macbeth and Ricky Wysocki back and forth for the last few years. This is an event that Macbeth has dominated every year, but I believe it was 2 years ago that Ricky won. 17.
Ricky,
So, a bunch of people are saying that it's Macbeth's tournament to lose.
And he just won. What did he just win?
Just won out at oh man.
What did he just win, guys?
I'm blanking.
What did Paul Macbeth just
Nick
win?
Hyde. Nick Hyde is
Nick
where
Hyde,
it was.
okay.
Yeah, and Ricky was right there all the way down, as well as Eagle, and so I think we've got some definite competitors up at the top. If I had to say whose tournament it was to lose, I'd probably agree it's probably Paul's to lose. However, if Ricky or Eagle or one of those guys catches fire, I mean, there's no telling what could happen.
And then if looking back at history, yeah, Paul has won at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah, starting in 2012,
he won.
Yep, he's won 5 of the last 6, only losing to Ricky in 16. And I know everybody, well, maybe not everybody, but most people remember that putt, about 80-footer on the golf course at the water. Ricky lets it go, and that's where Raptor Legs was kind of created. He hits that, and then Raptor Legs towards the basket, and Macbeth has like a 45-footer that hits the top, and so that ends up making Ricky win the event.
Yeah, they're showing past winners all the way back to 1986.
It's been around for a minute.
It's been around for a while. In the females division, last year was Paige Pierce was the winner. Then before that, Katrina, then Sarah Holcomb in 2012, Paige Pierce in 2011.
That's right.
So I'm assuming, is Paige playing that? I can't remember. I know that
yeah, she'll be there.
Okay, she's going to be there. So I would almost say, kind of like you said, as far as Paul, this could be Paige's event to lose.
I think so.
She has won every event she's played.
She has. She went into this women's global event. Well, I'm interested in how this ends up shaking out. All right. So women's global event they played. All the women's global events are 2-round events. However, the one that they went to, Daisy Chains, was the 3-round event. They only counted the first 2 for women's global, and she was losing after the first 2 rounds to Sarah Holcomb. So on the women's global event page, it has Paige listed in like 4th or something like that. But in the 3rd round, she ended up beating Sarah and winning the event. So I don't know if 4th will show up on the women's global like overall event or anything like that, but that's just kind of strange. But yeah, on the women's side, I'm the same. For Paige, I will pick Paige until she gives me a reason not to, and she hasn't yet. Yeah. She's the most dominant female player probably to ever play the game, but definitely the best player in the game right now.
A lot of debate going on Facebook. Of course, it's a little old, maybe, that talking about how maybe she's an overrated putter.
Yeah, I saw some of that.
I think it's hogwash.
Well, she also has more putts than a lot of the other women, in that there are holes where they're going to be outside circle 2 pitching up, or maybe have a long run from circle 2, where Paige is going to find herself with a lot of 20 to 30 footers because she does have that driving advantage. So I think she's taking more circle 1 putts that mean something, that aren't just drop-ins, than a lot of other female competitors. Granted, I will give this to the internet, and this is something that Paige and I have talked about. There's some times where she stands over 15 to 25 footers and just doesn't feel comfortable. For whatever reason, she's not following through well. Her wrist doesn't feel great. And that's when she can kind of, you guys know how it is in disc golf. Once you miss one, it's like, oh man, how do I do this? Yeah. And so, but Paige, I think you can call her an overrated putter if you want to. I mean, that's totally your prerogative. She is winning tournaments, and I think she's awesome.
So, being someone that, she won a lot last year, she hasn't lost one yet this year. I would imagine that feels good. That gives you good confidence, but that's also another layer of stress or
pressure.
Pressure. That's
sure.
what I'm looking for. Because
or stressor
or press.
There it is. Nice.
But I mean, that's kind of another level. Is like,
if she's undefeated. I mean, are you going to do that all year?
I'm interested to see how the internet reacts when she does lose, because she's amazing,
but she's
the
human.
Best out there, but she's human. Something's going to happen where she's not going to get first place. I wonder how the internet's going to react.
I would love to see her win just all the tournaments.
Oh, of course.
It'd be great. Anyway.
So now on the men's side, what would you say? Now I know we haven't had a chance to really look at it because I just sprung this on us. Who would you, if you had to pick a top 3?
Oh man,
this isn't necessarily has to be your your skip ace picks.
Right. Well, it won't be my skip ace picks because I very much doubt I could fit the top 3 in and not have to pick a much lower rated person.
The ratings. So what would be your top 3? Who do you think is going to be on the top the top card at the end? Top
all right.
3.
My lead card's going to be Wysocki and Macbeth both. I think they both have that fire back. Paul's catching his form a little bit more, and he's making more putts than that he's used to making. He's shaping those shots, in the way that really only he can. Like the way that he hits lines is just beautiful, and it's really fun to watch. He's a fantastic player. I think he's right at the top of his game. Ricky is maintaining that as well. I think his putt is starting to come back into form. He missed a few shorties lately that have been pretty nose down, and I think a lot of that could be attributed to getting some spit outs from baskets that, he sometimes gets those little short spit outs, and then, I don't know, it can just scare you off of a basket. So anyway, so I think those two are going to be there. I like Nate Doss if he's not hurt. Actually, you know what? I think Nate's not going to quite be back in the form that he needs to be up there, although he's an incredible player. I'm going to put Eagle in my top 4, and then I'm going to throw not a wild card, but somebody who I think will play well. I'm going to throw Bradley Williams in there on my lead card. Now, I would love to see some other players in there too, and I think we probably will, but those are the players that I think if I had to put money on right this second, I think they're going to be up there at the top throughout this event.
Excellent. I'm gonna have to. If I were to pick, I would have to say, I think Ricky and Paul are gonna be on there for similar reasons. I really think Eagle's gonna be on that card as well. I'd like to say maybe Simon, but I don't. It's so up and down with him. It feels like for Simon.
Yep.
He does really well, and I can't put my finger on it because. And I don't want to. I'm not trying to talk down on the guy because I think he's a great guy, but. When he was interviewing here with Steve Hill for GBO, and you can see the interviews on. I think they put some on the live
Open
coverage,
app, right?
On the what?
GBO is like on the Glass One Open page. Rather, we had a bunch of those.
Yeah, we had a bunch.
Facebook,
on the Facebook page, but he has a very nonchalant.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Attitude toward things, and that I'm not saying that's terrible. I'm not saying like attitude, but just nonchalant. Like how do you practice? Well, I just go out there. It feels like he's like I just go out there and throw.
Yeah.
And I'm like, someone with that much talent that if I'm just going to go out there and throw, and you can throw amazing. And I'm not saying he doesn't practice. I'm not saying he doesn't put into it, but it feels like maybe he doesn't put as much as he should put into it, or as much as he would need to put into it. And again, I shouldn't have pointed it out. It's just
no, I understand what you mean. And I think Simon would say this, like you can watch Simon play, and when he's locked in and focused, there's almost nobody that can play like him. He can do some things that almost nobody else can do. However, if he gets back a few strokes or has a bad break or two, you can see him kind of get a bit lackadaisical with his shots and start to, throw a little bit more of the like the big shot, over the top shot or something like that, kind of the crowd pleaser type shots. So anyway, fantastic player. If he ends up at the top, I will certainly not be surprised. One other person I really do think could have a good showing at this event is Nate Sexton. Nate controls his angles really well, and I think that's really important out at De La and at the golf course. Just landing your discs flat or opposite the slope of the hill that you're trying to land on. Yeah, that's going to be really helpful.
Who's someone that, I know we've said it before, we've tried to pick like our dark horse, but who's going to be kind of your, because with the skip ace, you got to be strategic with how you pick your ratings.
Right.
Who's going to be kind of your, what do you call it? Your value pick.
Right. Well, I won't end up getting to pick all of those people.
Right.
For sure.
Yeah.
If I'm scrolling down, probably my next favorite to pick, I would love to have Peter McBride on my skip ace team. 1020 rated from California, and Peter is honestly just as smooth as they come. And if he puts his rounds together, he's one of the best. I mean, he can hang with any of those top guys. Peter has great golf distance. I mean, straight line distance, big Anheuser, big Heiser. He's got great golf distance. He's not an elite distance thrower like the top guys, so maybe that's why you don't hear him talked about, with the Eagles and the Simons and the Drews and people like that. But for these courses, as I see them, you don't have to have elite distance. You have to have control and placement, and I think Peter has that in spades.
With Drew Gripson being from California, do you remember if he's historically done well at this event?
I don't remember right off the top, no.
He's been playing very well lately, so we'll have to see how he does, this being in California. I can't remember if he has said in the past whether this is a course that he's played a lot.
Right.
And I can't remember how he's done back in the past. Greg Barsby from California.
Couple guys to watch for.
Could do very, very well.
I always like watching Kevin Jones play golf. He throws super far, and he's definitely an up and comer in the pro scene, like the touring pro scene. Love to see how he would do. And then I think we've got three of our guys within a rating point of one another: AJ Risley, Eric Oakley, and Dustin Keegan. And I think all three of them could play great out there. I mean, they've got the tools to score well. It's just about picking their spots to attack and to be conservative and matching those angles.
So another name, you've mentioned Kevin Jones, and a couple other names that I've seen kind of people have been talking about. They've done really well. Of course, Nate Perkins did well in Waco, Texas. Be interesting to see how he does out in the California courses. And then Grady Shue is another one that a lot of people have been talking about, him doing really well. So it'd be interesting to see how they play. I don't know that I would put those guys on the lead card. But
they may not be on the, but they honestly
how
could.
They
really could. Yeah.
Just see how well they do out there. A name that we didn't mention is Jeremy Colling.
Jeremy Colling could put it together any weekend.
Yeah,
truly. Yeah. I mean, he's one of those guys that when he catches fire and his putt is on, he can do anything. And he's got both the backhand and forehand. He's kind of the same reason you'd pick Nate Sexton. Is because they can play both angles into those greens. So, yeah, I could see Big Germ playing great out there.
And then James Conrad, of course, if you follow some disc golfers on social media, you'll see that James was hanging out at the beach for a little bit, having a good time, relaxing. Just juggling and riding 2-layer bikes, 2-story bikes, whatever.
James is the man, dude. He's so cool.
He's a good guy, so we'll have to see how he does. Yeah. So many people are chiming in. Christopher says he sees Nate Sexton, Paul Ulibarri, Paul McBeth, and a Ricky Wysocki. I'm assuming he's talking about the top card.
Yeah, you could definitely see Ulibarri up there. He's got game, and he's played well out in California before, for sure.
Excellent. All right, well, guys, get your skipace.com picks in. It looks like the cutoff date is picks close in the next 2 days. So get those in. And as a way to catch up, I've got a Dynamic Discs Soldier cooler bag.
Nice.
To give away. Danny, would you do me a big favor and grab me one of those out of the box so I can show the people what these are all about? If you don't know, the cooler bag is more of it can be a shoulder, over the shoulder, or you can get straps and do a backpack style. But I have some of these goodies in my office. I want to show you what's so cool about these particular bags is that it holds, I would say, 18 to 20 maybe discs in there?
I would say without the cooler part,
right.
yeah.
But with the cooler part, it's going to be about 15, 14 discs in there, something like that. But what it is it's got an insert in there that's insulated, and it'll fit a 6-pack of Mountain Dew.
Soda?
Soda, yeah.
Tommy boy, throw it back.
So, and you put your ice in there, and so if your ice melts, it won't get all over your discs, but you put that, and it zippers in and Velcros in place. And what's really cool is when you zip it in, and then if you need to dump the water, you just dump it out like that. But you can put your beverages in there, anything you need to keep cool in there, go put it in there and take it out to you while you're out on the course. I'm going to give this one away to the one that gets the most points at the skipace.com, the Santa Cruz Masters Cup tournament.
Yeah.
Excellent stuff. I think we've covered everything we need to cover, guys. Thanks so much. This is kind of a super long YouTube and Dynamic Disc Live. If you guys like this kind of stuff, us going live like this, make sure you put something in the comments. Make sure you like, share, and comment on the video so we know that you guys enjoy this type of stuff.
And if you're interacting on the board, on the chat board, we really appreciate that. Everyone's keeping it civil in there. Thank you for that as well. And we love seeing those questions and putting those into the broadcast as we go.
Excellent, guys. Well, I'm going to get back to what I need to be working on, and I think that's it.
Awesome.
Anything else?
No. You got weekend plans?
Weekend plans. No.
Okay.
Oh, no. I might go watch the Royals play.
Oh, nice. Awesome.
I think we're thinking maybe go out down Friday night and watch the night game, and we might go to the day game on Saturday.
Awesome. That'd be cool.
So that'd be really cool.
Nice.
So what about you?
My wife and I are having our 5th anniversary on Friday.
Aww.
Yeah. So the May 18th we'll have been married for 5 years.
Anniversary of what? Oh, married 5 years.
Yeah, of being married.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So yeah, we're just gonna hang out. We're planning a trip to Utah end of the month, but it didn't really fit on this weekend. So yeah, we're just gonna celebrate, have a good time.
Well, good for you. That's really good.
Yeah.
All right. We'll see you guys next time.